Imagine a league built by the people, for the people. A league dedicated to the economic development of your city. So the question becomes, how good are the 32 teams that play in the minor football league? Well, there's only one way to find out. You have to experience the MFL.
Welcome to another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Dr. Richard D. Myles Sr., CEO, Chairman, Founder of the Minor Football League. Today is Friday. I want to wish everybody a happy Friday. I have my guests here today. Our two or more new stores went up today. We want everybody to know the Texas Rams store went up, and the Oklahoma Cowboys. So I'm quite sure that MFL Nation is excited about that, along with the GMs. Also, I got one of the GMs on today, Mr. Young. How you doing there, sir? Can you hear me?
How you doing today, sir?
All right. I'm glad you can make it. Also, my co-host, Lisa here, our dance team director. How you doing, Lisa? Unmute yourself.
That's right. Thank you for the reminder. I'm doing great. How is everyone today?
Okay, we're hanging in there. And then, I always say our special guest, but Mr. Trone Tate is a part of the MFL. He does our, he been working with us for a while. How you doing there, Mr. Tate?
I'm doing wonderful, Mr. Myles. How you doing today?
Hey, I see you got that shirt covered up there, Mr. Tate.
Oh, you know what? I always will pop it open every once.
We got to watch him, Lisa. When you're consulting for the MFL, we want to make sure everybody dress appropriate, right, Lisa?
That's right.
And Mr. Tate, I like what you got on that couch back there, Mr. Tate. Them all the guys. Also, I want everybody to know our MFL Nation. Mr. Tyrone Tate, also a part of the Watkins board. He was, a great organization. We there all the time. And Mr. Tate has sent a lot of guys from the Watkins board went to the NFL, but more importantly, because of their academics. I love about what they're doing, because these guys end up being scholars, Rhodes Scholars, lawyers, doctors. So I'm excited about that. But we're going to get right into the show. Mr. Tate, you look good. Lisa, first of all, Mr. Tate, you can join and drill our GM there, from down there in Florida, Mr. Tate. So I want you to, you might have some questions for him also, Mr. Tate. But Lisa, how's things going with the dance team?
Things are going great. We are rolling along, getting the word out that the auditions are coming this spring. So we're going to be starting with our Southwest Division in Texas on the 27th of March, and we're looking forward for all the ladies to come out. This is going to be that entire division's audition. So ladies, we're meeting there, but it does not mean you will be traveling there each week. You will be going to your team's field where they are playing. So it's just makes it simple for everyone to be there. They'll get to meet all of the GMs that are there down in the Southwest Division, and get to meet and greet all of the NFL league, key personnel that are involved, and get to really experience what the NFL is all about and the people behind it.
We can't send Mr. Tate. Mr. Tate already down in the South, down there in Georgia. But also, Mr. Young, tell us how things come along. Welcome to the MFL, sir. Glad you're aboard. How things coming along down there?
Oh, it's coming along well. Working on locking in the stadium here, probably early next week. But right now, just excited. We're just excited about the opportunity to add to the MFL, and excited about the opportunity that the MFL is going to give kids in this area to further that development. So,
Absolutely, and your store will probably be going up probably tomorrow or Monday. You see, we getting the stores up as fast as we can.
Right. Yes,
What do
sir.
you think of the stuff thus far?
Oh, it's looking good. It's looking good.
Okay, great. Now we gonna turn things over because Mr. Tate, he always very informative when the MFL is the laboratory of change, and we tell everybody about it. While what MFL is doing, we want to bring former players such as yourself from the field to the front office. In other words, we want to give them an opportunity that other league is not going to do. Not that we badgering anybody, but it is what it is. Also, we want players to understand beyond the field because you can't play this game forever. So we want them to understand the business side of this, and that's what's important to the MFL. And as you know, we are going to Africa. We got to get that together over there. And I say, thank God, I tell everybody God's in charge. And we had so many guys to register. Now we did get it together, where the guys can register on site. So y'all try that again. It should work now because I was on the phone with them all day. But also, Mr. Tate, this is a Washingtonian. We family there because anybody out of DC, if we ain't family, we claim each other, don't we, Mr. Tate?
Well, there's no doubt about that, Mr. Myles. And I'm always excited, especially when I see new members that come into, and when I say members, I should put the word in front of it, family members that come into the MFL. I mean, certainly I want them to know that they are supported. I mean, no matter where I am, no matter what's going on, Miss Lisa, I can tell you when you get those ladies out there that's cheering for those guys, I mean, it means a lot. Because the MFL, as I've stated before, is about community. I mean, we try to go in and raise the quality of life. I mean, football is nothing, no different than the other sports, except for it is the world's greatest sport. And football just happens to be a form of entertainment. So when people come to the football game, whether it's the kids, whether it's grown men, whether it's, women that come they want to be entertained. They work all week. They come in and they want to be entertained. And then especially Mr. Youmans, as I see the new gear that's coming out, that new gear is high quality. I mean, it's nothing like being able to wear something. I mean, people go into, I'm not going to give any free commercials for these stores that sell this discounted stuff. But one of the things as a human being, you like to walk around with quality merchandise on. The old saying, if you look good, you feel good. Typically that's the case. And so with you and Miss Lisa having, the responsibility of putting those lady MFLers out there, cheering on their favorite team. I don't really care, where I go to watch the game. I know that the MFL is a professional developmental football league. So we giving people opportunities who ordinarily wouldn't be able to, let's say, cheer on that other league. I won't call that league out and give them no free publicity, but that other league, they can come in. You got the coordinator for the cheerleaders. They come in and they coordinate. Certainly, Mr. Youmans, you got your team together. We want you to feel as though you are running a professional franchise because we understand this is not a semi-pro team. This is a professional league, just like the other league. Everything about it is professional. I mean, they had their bumps and bruises too when they first started. If you look them up, the internet has all the great information that you can see, the bumps and bruises that everybody goes through. But I'm like Mr. Myles say, I'm originally from DC. I just live down here in Georgia. We just happen to have the busiest airport in the world. So that means I can jump on a flight and pretty much go anywhere. I mean, this is the hub. And being in the hub, I get out and I'm excited for this MFL because people been locked up and they looking for some excitement. And Miss Lisa, I'm coming down. I want to see what you got on that field. I want to see the product that you got on the field. And a lot of these games, believe it or not, going to be streamed live. So that means people can take their cell phone. Who would have thought 20 years ago you could take your cell phone and watch a game on your cell phone? I mean, a game. And we all know there's some talented people out here that don't get a chance to be on TV on Sunday. So now they get a chance to be a part of the MFL and still show their skills and whatever it is that they may do, because the MFL is not only a laboratory of change, it's a laboratory of opportunity.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that, Mr. Tate, and I also want you to talk a little bit about what else you do, but more importantly, the MFL is we here for the economical changes, economical, give you an opportunity, jobs where there are no jobs. And when you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, you look at the MFL and say, I tell guys all the time that other league had 100 years to get it together, 100. We only been here for 28 years. I think we're doing pretty good, I would say so. And that's not me patting myself on the back, but this is what I'm getting from a lot of people. But more importantly, the MFL will give these young men an opportunity to play and where everybody can see you. And I always say that, it's not what it's the MFL is, we want to educate these guys in terms of entrepreneurship, and Mr. Tate stated out, we got everything that other league got. You know what I mean? We got everything. And more importantly, we got young men getting the opportunity to be GM and head coaches, which we know the upper league, all they doing, not to badger nobody, recycle people all the time. And we got to stop that and take that glass ceiling off. We really got to do that. And as Lisa's doing a great job, and everybody know one thing about the MFL, all our girls always went to that next level, be it the Ravens, the Washington Red, the Wizards. We always had our girls to move on to that. So that tells you what type of commitment and type of talent that we have here. But more importantly, we want our people to stay here. We want this to be a viable league because more importantly, we tell everybody, this is an opportunity when you can own a professional franchise. Now think about that. We can make a lot of little money over there, but you're never gonna own nothing there. And the key to this is generational wealth. And that's the key to it. We are the biggest consumers in America. We have nothing to show for it. Oh, you might got that car, you might got that house, but eventually you're going to lose that if you not continue to making the money that you was making. So when people always talk about the MFLs, okay, the minor football league, I say, no, the MFL stands for money for life if you own one. Money for life, gentlemen and ladies, if you own one, that's what it is, because now you're talking about generational wealth where you can pass it down to your kids' kids. Just like the other league, and I'm not mad with them. I think with the way they put that together was brilliant. But also, you always have to understand that we can only play this game for so long, or sports in general, for so long. And I just want to commend, and I don't say it, if I say it, I don't say it enough, I might say it too much. I don't think so. Lisa are doing an outstanding job with this dance team. Outstanding job. Because Lisa's going to be the first, and she's like the military general. She's going to be the first on the plane to get there before we get there. And we did it the way we did it, the national combines and stuff. And like I say, we don't want no old guys like me out there. We want to give these young guys an opportunity that come out of college, because that is that gap there. That is that gap. What happens to these guys when they come out? You still relevant, but now you feel that you're not successful because you didn't make that over league. It's too many people. It's only 32 teams over there. Some of them guys, and most of them under contract, so that's only room for a few. But the MFL, we're going to sign 60 players per franchise. We got 16 here, 16 over there. That's a lot of jobs. That's a lot of opportunity for people. And I also want MFL Nation to know, tell me what do you think of the MFL when you saw this and you got the call and, it was a great interview. Everybody that talked to you before me, speak very highly of you. What was your thought process when you had a chance to look at it and they said, okay, we want to give you an opportunity to have the GM job? What went through your mind?
Oh man, I was super excited. I was super excited to just have the opportunity to build, like you say, something of your own. And that's the biggest part of it for me, is to have something that I can continue to build on for years and years to come. So, but that's pretty much what went through my mind, just excitement.
Was it surprising that when you did your research that the league been around as long as it's been around?
Absolutely. When I checked it out after I had that conversation with Dr. Freeman and see how long the league had been around, I was a little surprised that it kind of slipped out the back door on me and I hadn't heard of it. So definitely excited for the opportunity to go ahead and bring some more attention to it. Absolutely.
And I tell people all the time, thank God for social media. Come on, thank God, Lisa. Mr. Tate, thank God for social media. I have to ask you, Mr. Tate, tell MFL Nation, and a lot of them don't nobody know you, tell them about that great organization that you're a part of. And before we go to Lisa, just fill MFL Nation in to the outstanding work that y'all doing and you've been doing for a long time with the Watkins Board.
Well, it's been 31 years now. And the organization, when I first met the executive director, J. Everett Pearsall, I really didn't know what to say, because he kind of caught me off guard, because he said, I want to talk to you about the National Alliance of African American Athletes, which most people never heard of. And so he went on to say there was a gentleman in Pennsylvania that he had founded this organization, and that Franklin D. Watkins, which was his name, was nothing more than a community man. And what he was trying to do was just inspire young men to do better in the classrooms as they were achieving on the football, basketball, and or baseball field. And so in the 30 years that I have been involved with this organization, I've seen things is actually, for me, it's normal. I mean, for a lot of other people, they say it's not normal. But I say that, and the short of this story is, there was a young man that came through the program a couple of years, about 10 years ago. First of all, in order to get in the organization, you must have a minimum of a 3.0 GPA. You must be a minimum of a 4 or 5-star athlete. I mean, this is, you say, okay, a kid being a 4-star athlete and having a 3.0, that's rare. No, it isn't rare. It's a lot of kids, especially African-American kids that are out there. But this particular kid, I'm gonna stick to him. Chris Burnett came through this program. I have never heard of an African-American, Asian, or Caucasian, you name it. I have not heard of a kid to pull off what he did. He was a 5-star lineman, and he graduated from high school with a 5.1 GPA. Wow. And most people say, wait a minute, you can't get a 5. Well, you can if you take all AP classes. He took chemistry, physics, mathematics, geometry, biology. He took everything, got all A's. And this young man was a 5-star athlete. He goes to the University of Georgia. He plays 5 years. Of course, he was redshirted his freshman year. By the time he graduated, he had 2 degrees. 2 degrees. He had his master's degree as well. And he went down to Jacksonville Jaguars, got cut. And he called me up and he was excited. I said, man, what are you so excited for? He said, Coach, it was just as you said. It was an opportunity to get a free education. I didn't want to play football anyway. I don't have no bills, no nothing when I come out of school. And then last but not least, we had a young man that went down to Florida State. He come out of high school. 4.2. So, okay, he's an average kid. But he goes to Florida State. He's a pre-med major. He finished pre-med in 2.5 years. He got his master's in 8 months. He goes to Oxford, get another master's, come back, play in the NFL for 3 years, quit, because they was playing with him. They had the audacity to ask him the question, are you serious about football or education? He looked at them and said, well, coach, I told him that I thought maybe you would want me to focus on both, and I can do good at both. I can excel. And they said, no, you got to make a choice. He said, well, okay, I'm going to take the guaranteed contract. He went back to school, and now he's up at Massachusetts General, and he's a neurosurgeon. So these young men, and this is just 2 of 149 other stories. I mean, all of these young men that come through, they have all 100% graduation. Over 50% of them graduate with 2 degrees. And I just spoke to one young man last week. I had him on my show last Monday. This young man goes to Clemson. He comes out of high school with something like a 4.6, I think it was. He goes to Clemson, wins a national championship at Clemson. Somewhere along that, after winning the national championship, he was in a car accident, broke his neck, told him he'll never play again. But because of the inspiration and all of the great stories we know of men who have played football, who have overcome injuries, they told him he wouldn't walk out the hospital. He walked out of the hospital. Not only did he walk out of the hospital, when he finished his football career at Clemson, he had 2 degrees. He went into the portal because he still had another year eligibility left. He goes to Boston College, gets another master's. So by the time his football career is up, he said he still has just a few little things he has to tighten up. But by the time this man's football career is over, he got 2 master's degrees and a bachelor's degree. Most people can't even get a bachelor's degree after being in college for 7 years. They still trying to get. So this is what the Watkins Award, and let me just tell you, we got kids that go to Stanford, they go to Duke, they go to Vanderbilt, they go to Cal Berkeley, they go to all the big schools, all of the Power 5 schools. You look on anybody's roster, they are there. But I just stopped by saying that these kids go to those schools, they get their degrees. Not every one of them go to the NFL. I think it's 18 of them that's active on a roster right now. They, at any time, they can come up to you. I got a kid I'm going to have on my show on Monday. This kid, he played 9 years with the Falcons. Falcons came, say, hey, we doing some reorganization. We'll see you later. Well, you got to go. Well, he didn't bicker. He just went on and left and went to law school because he was focused. And so the alliance, we call that for short, is supportive of the MFL, supportive of Dr. Myles, and Dr. Myles comes to every year. He's there supporting us. He comes to the dinner, and I will say, Miss Lisa, Mr. Youmans, if you ain't doing nothing, come and sit at Mr. Myles' table. He got a table every year. He's sitting right there, just a smiling, everybody going back and forth. And, hey, Dr. Myles, how you doing? Because now I got to respect the fact that he comes from Richard Myles Sr. to Dr. Myles Sr. now. So I got to give him his title. It's crazy. He worked for it. And we're talking about an ex-NFL guy who has gotten involved, and because of his learning experience has come into the MFL with a whole bunch. They say that Tom Joyner, now I'm going to give him what credit is due. He's the hardest working man in America. Oh, no, he hasn't met his match with Dr. Myles yet. So you all are in for fasten your seatbelt, put your chin strap on, and know Mr. Myles is going to support you because, as I mentioned, the MFL is it's positive for the community. It raises the quality of life. But as Dr. Myles says, it's no doubt it helps with economics. People are going to be spending money, having a good time. Again, I go back to that word, entertainment. This is, a great option for people who want to support their community, support the people who are in the community, who go away, go to these big schools, don't get a chance to play. They sat on the bench. Guy was All-American and never get a chance to play. And then all of a sudden he comes in the MFL. He's a great player. And people, where's this kid been? He was at the University of so-and-so for the past 5 years. They just didn't play him. So you're going to see some incredible talent in this MFL, and all the guys got to know it's no different than that other league.
And you're so kind, Mr. Tate. But it was just my my duty, and what I mean by that, I always say I'm a puzzle. I collect the pieces as I go, and if they don't fit, then I put them back. I had people like Mr. Tate, and the people that I look up to. And I'll tell people, I'm the first one to say, I do not have all the answers, but together we can find a solution to whatever problem we may have with the MFL. And I tell people all the time, if you're the smartest person in your organization, then you got a problem. It's just simple as that, because there's no way. I need people like yourself. Our young GM we have on, we want to ask you, give us what you got. You might have some ideas, but what I want everybody to understand that this is affordable entertainment. These young men are still relevant. Now they're home. They ain't got to go across the country and play nowhere. They can play at home. It's nothing like playing at home. You know that, Mr. GM. Family going to come there. We make it affordable. Well, you're going to get a season ticket and admit 4 people, all 5 home games for $100. That's unheard of. You know what I mean? But it gives people an opportunity to be a part of it, to experience what the NFL doing. Our guys are going to do 100 hours of community service. That's going to be in their contract, because we want to be a part of their community. We want to enhance what they're doing. We're not taking anything from the community. Anybody deal with the NFL is going to make money. We get a hotel that sponsors it where you at. Why not sponsor? We got 5 teams coming in there. We got to pay for them to stay somewhere, right, sir? We got to pay for them to stay somewhere, so they're making money, right? Okay, we get a bus company. We need to rent buses because you're going away for 5 games. So you see, everybody get an opportunity to make money, and that's what we call economic development. And even Lisa, the dance team, they're gonna be out there doing community service. Let me let her expand on that a little more, Lisa.
Yes, no, and great examples, Coach Tate. Thank you for sharing those stories, because it's just another reinforcement of how limitations are placed upon people, and you either believe in those limitations or you rise up above it and you challenge yourself to do and become what you were created to be. And so with that, the NFL is, and also that's how Dr. Myles and I kind of connected, is because of my company and what I do, and we both share the same mission, and that mission is taking the ordinary to extraordinary, where people consider something as extraordinary and not recognizing the extraordinary in that person, whether it's a player, a dancer, someone working behind the camera, the coaches. These are people.
Okay. Yeah, I can't hear you. Can y'all hear her?
Are you able to hear?
Can everybody hear Lisa?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are people who
well, I couldn't hear, so maybe it was on me. Okay.
Super.
Oh, I couldn't hear. As long as y'all can hear. Then.
Yeah. Are you able to hear me?
Great. You know, everybody hear me all right? Everybody hear me good?
Yes,
Mr. Tate, you can hear me? Okay. You know, when you think about it, in being a GM, let me ask you this. You think you would be a GM at this stage of your life, at your age?
Oh, absolutely not. I would not think that in a million years I would be a GM right now. So, yeah, it's definitely a heck of an opportunity for, all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, working with the MFL is a great experience for everyone. just like I was saying, people are getting opportunity, but these opportunities are being brought to communities that need it. It's not in a community that's already developed and thriving. This is for people and affordable entertainment for people who would never be able to afford going to a professional football game. Here you have this in your own backyard. You have these players who live in the community. They're participating in the community. They're right there for you. And they're involved in community services for the players and the dancers. So, it's really that getting involved and encouraging and showing that there is a way you can achieve your dream. And, for those people who have to work 2 jobs, it allows them to do what they love while they're transitioning. So the MFL provides plenty of opportunity for everyone, not just players or dancers.
And going back to you, Mr. Young, at your age, I know you have friends that talk to you. You're like, you a GM? What is the census on that when you talk to your friends and stuff?
Friends about it. At first, I don't think they really take it serious until I get to breaking down what the league is and how long the league has been here and what I'm trying to do here in the area. And all of a sudden they buy in and they all congratulate me right now. I'm getting calls all the time like congratulations and making new contacts as well, networking, trying to get things off the ground over here. So, a lot of people, they are congratulating me a lot, being that I am, at my age.
Absolutely. When they see you, one thing about it, when they go to the website and stuff, they see your picture, their biggest day and everything. They see you on there.
Right. I told them earlier, I was like, yeah, man, I got a Zoom call at 5 to do a podcast, and I was scrolling through my phone showing them the league website, and I showed them the post, and it was said, Florida 49ers, Bruce Youmans, and on live, and they were like, oh, everybody went crazy.
Yeah, they all watching the show, and that's good. And that's what I want people. We want them to understand that you are a force in your community, and we want to know those young men. They're going to look at you. They know now they could call. Okay, I finished school now. I'm not going to have that burden on me because I didn't make it to the league. Mr. Tate. Let me call Mr. He's the general manager. He got the 49ers with the MFL, so it gives them hope. And when you look at it, it's like I don't know. I know when I tore my rotator cuff and I was looking at the film, and one of the coaches say, "Look at you. You not for someone that's been playing football since you were young. You think you're a Superman. You can't be hurt, and when you get hurt, you realize you can be hurt. Mr. Tate." And I looked at myself and I say, I guess this is it for me, because I didn't have that. You have that aggressiveness that you can't explain when you play ball. Mr. Tate stuff. But when you no longer see that in you, it's like, wow, it's time to go. So in saying that, I like the game of sports. I've done coaching in the high school level, but it still wasn't what it still wasn't that itch. I had that itch I couldn't scratch it, Mr. Tate, and you probably can identify with that because you're coaching and everything. So I said, you know what? Everybody have a minor league system but the NFL. And I thought about that. And you had people say, oh, well, yeah, but they got there's no such thing as semi-pro. If you're pro or you're not. I just was an ignorant term. But something of this caliber, and it's done right. Mr. Tate, we talk about all the time, and it's done right. See, concepts. People with money don't have a concept, and people with a concept don't have money. What happens? The people with the money buys the concept, right? But think about it. If you took that concept and say, it's not for sale, let me do it the way it's supposed to be done. Mm-hmm. Now you had 2 other leagues. You had the Alliance Football League trying to start. They had money. Their concept was all wrong. XFL came back after 20 years. They had money. Concept was all wrong. And I told it, even when we met with the NFL, I talked to them all the time. I told them, I said, give it 4 games. I guarantee it'll crash. It crashed. XFL came back. I said the same thing. The COVID-19 helped them to kind of ease out of it, Mr. Tate. You know what I mean? People can kind of bow out of it, but we know they was done.
Absolutely.
But my concept is the right way because I'm not lying to players. I can't pay you. I'm not that other league. I can't pay you money for what I think you won't do. But that's what they pay these young men now coming out of college, what they think they're going to do. See, the veterans been there. They can't get no money. But what you think. So my concept is this. If I put $1 million worth of insurance on you if you get hurt, if I take care of the travel expenses, the hotel fee, if I do that, provide uniform, I think that's a great concept. You know what I mean? Because I'm not lying to you about nothing.
Absolutely.
This is what it is right here. This is what we can do for you. And anybody play football, it takes 5 years to get it out your system. NFL, lifespan is in the NFL, what is 3 years? You know, so you think about this concept and talking to people like Mr. Tate, for instance, this guy's a wealth of knowledge. I encourage you, if you need to talk with him, call him. But besides us, we're a tight-knit group. And if you noticed about the MFL, anybody a part of the MFL, I've been knowing them for years. Been years. And just being invited there the first time I was invited to, I just fell in love with it because I struggled to get in college. I'm not gonna lie, I was not an A student. My ability got me at Arizona State, not because academically I was that strong. I mean, I'm a smart young man, but I'm gonna be honest, I was not an A student.
Sure.
I can be you all day long. I give you that D. But A's, if I got them, but I understand. But to hear his story and the fact that he invited me there, I was hooked there. Am I right, Mr. Tate? The MFL network was down there, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Down there with cameras. I was so impressed, Lisa and Mr. Young, in seeing these young black, because we always been tagged as we got ability, but not too much. And this is what it is. But looking at this opened my eyes tremendously, and I'm so privileged to know Mr. Tate was introduced to Tyrone. I'm gonna make sure that the MFL GMs be at the dinner, Mr. Tate. And Lisa, I know Lisa be there with me because they have to. I tell people, experience the MFL. You really have to experience what they doing. It's this Watkins awards and stuff. I mean, they get all these top athletes from all over the country. Mr. Young, you should see him, man. Very sharp, articulate young man. And I'm always there in the pictures and stuff. I'm Mr. Tate. I'm right there. I'm right there with him. And then those are the guys that you see playing in the NFL and the first round draft picks and stuff. But, if you would indulge us, Mr. Tate, give us a little, listen on a little more about this and give a little bit of your background, Mr. Tate. Because I tell people you from D.C., they don't want to believe their hands. This guy's from D.C. So tell a little bit more about you, Mr. Tate, and all the great things. And he has students he bring over from Africa because he also coached basketball. And that's why we headed over there. Oh,
absolutely. And what I'll say, Mr. Myles, and the short of it is that, yes, I am from D.C. Grew up in the city. I was an athlete because, like most inner cities, you had your troubles. So I had the kids who stayed in trouble. So I tell kids all the time today, there's no excuse for them not to have good grades because when I was coming through school, it was unhealthy to be smart. Because if you look like you were smarter than everyone else in the classroom, oh man, you might have to fight. I mean, they were putting their knuckles up against their eyes and putting that number 3 up. At 3 o'clock, it's gonna be on and popping. So I had to thumb it down some. There was sometimes I had answers for things I just didn't talk about. But when I was in school, I distinctly remember I played 5 sports when I was in high school. So most people say 5 sports. Wait a minute. How could you? Actually, I played 7, but I played 5 sports consistently by the time I got to the 9th grade. Now in DC, high schools don't start until the 10th grade. So you go through junior high school, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, and then you go through high school, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And it was just that they didn't want the 9th graders being so young among those grown men on the high school level. I mean, it was crazy back then in DC, but it was a heck of an experience. And I always say, being one of the smallest guys, but probably one of the most talented. And one of the things most people didn't realize, because I was using sports to stay out of trouble, to have a real legitimate excuse to say, hey, I can't go because I got to go to practice. Well, baseball season was over with. Basketball season was over with. Football season was just about over with, but the game has already been played on Friday. So what are you doing on Saturday and Sunday? I played hockey. And they say, you playing what? I'm playing hockey. So they see me with my hockey equipment going to the game. Then, you know, in any time of the year, they see me. Well, where you headed? I'm going to boxing practice. I got to go practice. I was so scared
number
to get
2 boys club. Yeah, number 2.
Number 2 boys club, and was very, very well known in DC for boxing at number 2 boy. I didn't know. And I lived in Northeast DC, another unhealthy version of my story, because to go from Northeast to Northwest
was a challenge.
It was a challenge within itself. But because I was an athlete, I used athleticism to get through these things. So I go to number 2 boys club, and for 2 years, never lost a fight, because I was scared if I lost the fight, go home. People just didn't know my motivation. So, you know, I say all that to say, I try to bring all that to the kids that I coach now. I don't just talk it, I do it. And that's why I love the MFL, that it gives people the opportunity to live out their dream, because true story. I won't tell you who it was. You know, I'll wait until I get them on my show and let them know. But true story, I watch these incredible scholar athletes. So I got 30 years plus, not only through the Watkins Award, but just watching. I've identified watch. So I've been documenting this stuff, not only on paper, but in my head, to watch how do you effectively help a young man or young lady, Miss Lisa, you know, how do you effectively help them to make the transition from a average marginal athlete to a super athlete? And as you all know, this is a business now. You go to these top schools, okay, you got your coach in high school making $35,000, $40,000. You go to top schools, some of them football coach, because football is really what drives the economics in college. So you got some of those football powerhouse, the coaches making $17 million a year. So you got a high school coach making 35, you got a college coach making 17 million. The level of expectation. A ticket costs $5 to get into a high school game. You go to some of these big time college games, I won't say no names, but I haven't seen people pay $3,000 for a scalp ticket. So it's the motivation on the field, a product on the field. So the people who come in the stands, they want to see this. So the story that I'm telling you about, a parent, when the baby was born, the father had a football. He put the football on the baby's hand to let him know what he was going to be doing. Now, I'm not going to divulge who the identity. I got some crazy stories, but I'm not going to divulge who that identity is. It's going to come out. But that kid ended up being a superstar. Now, what am I saying? I'm saying, and what does that mean? I'm saying that you got some parents that are doing some pretty incredible things. They making the kids sleep with footballs and basketballs. Baseballs. You know, this is all the kid is doing every day. You know, I kind of get a kick out of driving down the streets and you see fathers who are probably, in their early 20s or 30s, and the kid is only 4 or 5 years old, and they kicking the ball to the kid, expecting him to catch the ball and get upset with him when he fumbled the kickoff. So what are we saying? We saying that, okay, this kid now, he goes to college, he plays football, he's at a Power 5 school, or maybe he goes to an NAIA school. I always tell kids, the only thing you doing is using sports, male or female, you using sports to get a free education. That's all. So this kid goes to a Power 5 school, that coach making $17 million, those fans paying $3,000. So that kid is under a lot of pressure. So now his football career is over with after college, and we just expect that kid to deprogram himself. It's not that easy. So the MFL gives that young man an opportunity to still play the game of football, get it out of his system. That young lady that was a cheerleader, and the mother had a cheerleader uniform on, that child couldn't even walk. Now she got a cheerleader uniform on the kid. She's only in the kindergarten. Don't know, but she's jumping around. Now all of a sudden she's in ballet. She's an acrobat. She's doing a lot of different things. And by the time you know it, like down here in Georgia, one of the high schools that's in my community, they've won the state championship probably in 10 years. They won it 5 or 6 times. So cheerleading is a big thing. You see, look, anytime you see cheerleading on ESPN, ESPN ain't going to play nothing just for the heck of it. It's money. So they got the cheerleading on ESPN. So again, that young lady goes through grade school, goes through college. She has cheerleading in her blood. And it's nothing wrong with wanting to be a cheerleader, still having the body, still having the energy, and being in the community. And guess what? Helping other young ladies do something of value, because guess what? That same young lady can get a cheerleading scholarship that's going to pay for $250,000, $500,000, $500,000 scholarship, because they got cheerleading scholarships at the major Power 5 schools. You look on the sideline, you see males who want to be cheerleaders. Anybody, they trying to do whatever they can to lower the bill for their parents. So the MFL allows you to live out this dream in such a way you don't have to go cold turkey. I just can't play football no more. And then you run around the street and people want to know whether or not you're going crazy. No, this is because my daddy put my hand on a football when I was born. This is all I knew in my life. And now all of a sudden I can't play football no more because I'm injured. But I can go to the MFL and be a part of the administration. I can still be around that game. So I'm excited about the MFL. We got to get this thing going, Dr. Myles, Mr. Youmans and Miss Lisa. Oh, like you said, I expect to see them at our next live Watkins Award. So not only do they feel the energy, but they also have a sense of camaraderie, because the mere fact that we all in it together. If you fail, we fail. If you succeed, we succeed. What can we do in order to make this thing successful, Doc?
Well, Doc, I mean, you being here and all the things you have been to the NFL makes it that. But I also want to turn this to, we're a few minutes. Tell MFL Nation, Mr. Young, who you are. We want the MFL Nation to know a little bit the synopsis on you, where you went to school at, college. Give them a little synopsis on you.
Okay. I went to school at Tulane University, Roll Wave. I redshirted my first year there, so I played 5 years there. Just like we was just having this conversation about, I played 5 years there. And since then I've been pretty much doing some insurance work, but had that conversation with you, Dr. Myles, and now we're on the up and up.
Right. We just want to make sure MFL Nation know who you are. We want to make sure, and the next show you'll be on the radio show, because we have the radio show come on Saturday mornings live as well. You know, we're the whole MFL network. Lisa, hey, I know you all ready to get started. I want everybody to know you can reach the MFL. Our website, mflishere.com. We're on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. You can reach the league. You can, anything you want to know about the league. And I'm excited about the apparel that we have that's coming up. You see that, Lisa? You know, we got it in the women's apparel too as well. So
absolutely, yeah, I saw there's women's apparel, so it's not just for men. The MFL is representing both. I mean, there are many, many women out there who love football, and so just having apparel where they could go and get for their team that they're going to cheer at the game, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful opportunity. Beautiful products, well made and affordable. Very affordable.
And, you know, I also want to just call out my GMs. Of course, they always call in. You know, the GMs are doing an outstanding job. And I want everybody to know that Mr. Tate will be on here. Every time Mr. Tate come on the show, everybody says, when he going to come on again? You know, but gentlemen and ladies, Lisa, you are doing a great job. I just want people that watching in, because we have a lot of people that watches our show, even abroad. The MFL is here, you know, and we tell everybody, we want you to experience the MFL. The MFL it's something that's greatly been needed for a long time. And all the, you know, things, people are never, you know, I tell people opinion of you don't have to be your reality. And I tell people, because I was one of those so-called at-risk youth coming up, but I used to tell people it's not where you come from. You know, you can always find out, you know, where you're going, but don't ever forget where you come from, because you never know who you might run in on the way up and be the same people on the way down. Something that I always say that was told to me by somebody that did to me, you want to be humbled, you don't want to be humbled, you know. And I always take that in the conversations that I have with people. But, you know, the MFL was just the laboratory of change. And this is and everybody talking about, you know, well, we began things, get back to norm. This is the norm. The norm is gone. You know, I tell people all the time, you hear people always talk about Black Wall Street. That's gone. You know, used to talk about something that's gone and never going to come back. This right here, the MFL is the future. And what I mean by that, because we're giving people an opportunity that you won't find nowhere else. Sports management, sports marketing, PR marketing, broadcast journalists, trainers, you can get all that here. Interns can come here and work, and we're going to make sure that people actually do what they're in school for, because, you know, you can also get credit for it. But we're in 16 states around the country. Also, we're over in Africa. We're excited about that. I don't know if you've seen, Lisa, on the social media, the African brothers over there, they made a record and stuff. You see the guys on there wearing MFL stuff, and they're excited about us coming there. We really excited, and I'm gonna be really reaching out to Mr. Tate, because we are going over Africa and we are getting things together over there. We've been set back a little bit because of the COVID virus, but you know, hey, that's just life, you know. And I tell people, you know, it's hard to be what you really want to be in life. It takes no effort to be a bum. You just don't do anything. But then at the same time, don't start complaining to people about things. You have to get up by your bootstraps and you have to push forward. This had not been easy, but I was determined with the MFL, and that's why we're here. And even surprising you, Mr. Young, and everybody that come look at the MFL, everybody's surprised we've been around a long time. That's because we're doing things the right way. We're not rushing. We're not trying to compete with the other league. We're not in there. They who they are, we who we are. We're not trying to be something that we're not. And I tell people all the time, we're just going to do what we can do. to make things better. We just gonna provide an opportunity that you don't generally find outside of professional or college sports. That's what the minor league is about. Then you have a truly minor league system that people can really benefit. So I want everybody to take a minute and tell everybody how we can get in contact with you, Mr. Tate.
Well, you know, it's always easy. Just go online and just type in Coach Tate, Tate, Tyrone Tate. Just type Tyrone, and you'll find me somewhere online on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. And I will say also, I forgot to mention that you do have somebody that comes to the Watkins Award, and that's Coach Knight from down in Orlando.
Absolutely, sure do.
He and his wife sneak up there to DC to come to the event. But yeah, you can go to any social network. You'll find Coach Tate, Coach TT, and the number 8 for Tate. You'll find me somewhere online, or just find Dr. Myles. You'll find me somewhere close by.
And we're going to make sure, Lisa, that we get Mr. Tate to invite us on the show, too. He have a great show. So we're going to make sure he don't leave us out of there. Lisa?
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I can't wait. Let me know when that event is happening. I definitely will be there. And people can reach me, the dancers, definitely through www.mflishere.com. They can also reach me on my site, www.livefitk.com. That's LIVFIT, the letter K.com. Dancers at gmail.com if they have an inquiry, or livefitk@gmail.com. Always getting back to everyone. I make sure I follow up with the dancers. If a player inquiry comes in, I always make sure I forward it over to the MFL and Dr. Myles. No one is left out. We follow up with everyone. Ladies, we are looking for 30 dancers for each of the 16 National Minor Football League. That is tons of opportunity after a year where performances and entertainment has been shut down. There is no reason to say you didn't have an opportunity. Get out, get involved, come out and audition, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone.
Yes, sir, Mr. Young. You already have access to your Facebook page, right?
I don't, not yet. No,
okay. Well, how do you get in? Tell them a little bit about yourself. How do you get in contact? We make sure we have that all done for you.
Okay, no problem. You can get in contact with me at Bruce Youmans, first name, last name on Facebook. You could also shoot me an email if you want any information regarding, coming out to participate in the combines or anything that we have coming up. And that email is bruce.fl49ers@gmail.
Yeah, and I want our listening audience today to, I want to thank y'all for tuning in as always. But like I say, the MFL is definitely here. We're excited about it. We took last year off because I wanted to make sure our safety in terms of the young players, our staff, our front office, we want to make sure everybody is safe, And right now, things are getting better now. And now we see a lot of light at the end of the tunnel now. So that's why we already set our combines up for in Texas, going to be the 27th of March. The 27th of March going to be here. We're going to also have our combines here in the Mid-Atlantic division and stuff. We want everybody to come out and look at what we're doing. Please, you can register online. MFL is here.com. Then you go to the paper. You can also go online and you register where it say league registration. Our GMs, I see Mr. Lou Johnson there. I see all our GMs come on. I want to shout all our GMs out. But we're excited about this year coming up, and I know that's why we always have our GMs on. But here's the combine that y'all see on the screen that's coming up. We're very excited about it, but it's the 27th of March, and the site and the place and everything is there. The number you can contact us, look on our website. So we're very excited about that. Also, thank you for joining us. I want to thank my guest today. You've been listening to another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Dr. Richard D. Myles Sr. Thank y'all. We look forward. We'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies.